There's a man in our city. Maybe you've seen him. He's the one always holding the door. At the coffee shop, the library, the office building downtown. Rain or shine, he's there. A gentle smile on his face, waiting. For you, for me, for anyone. He holds it for the mother juggling a stroller and grocery bags. For the student rushing to class, his head buried in a textbook. For the businessman barking into his phone, who doesn't even notice. He just holds the door. I used to think it was just a nice habit, a relic of an older time, but then I started watching him. Really watching. There was a quiet patience in his eyes, a kind of hopeful stillness. It wasn't just about politeness, it was a ritual. Each person who passed through was a small victory, a connection made, even if it was fleeting and one-sided. He'd offer himself to have a good one, and most people would just nod, or say nothing at all, lost in their own worlds. One day, I saw him at the local community center. An evening event was letting out, and a crowd was pouring through the main entrance. And there he was, standing by one of the heavy glass doors, holding it open as the river of people flowed past. He looked a little tired, the smile a bit fainter than usual. I wondered, what's his story? Why does he do this, day in and day out? So, I decided to wait. I stood off to the side, pretending to be on my phone, as the crowd thinned. Finally, it was just him and one last person, an elderly woman with a cane, moving slowly. He waited patiently, holding the door wide, giving her all the time she needed. She paused when she reached him, looked him right in the eye, and said, "Thank you, son." That was very kind. His whole face lit up. It was like the sun breaking through clouds. After she left, he let the door swing shut and stood there for a moment, just looking at his reflection in the glass. I gathered my courage and walked over. "You're always holding the door," I said. It sounded kinda dumb, but it was all I could think of. He turned, a little startled, but then that gentle smile returned. "Well," he said, his voice soft, "someone's got to." We stood in silence for a moment. Then I asked him, why? He looked down at his worn-out shoes, then back at me. "I guess," he began, "I'm just hoping that if I hold enough doors for other people, one day, someone might feel like walking through mine." His name is Arthur. He told me he's lived in the same small apartment for 30 years, ever since his wife, Eleanor, passed away. They never had children. His friends have either moved on or moved away. "The apartment is quiet," he said. "Too quiet. The silence is the loudest thing in it." He described his days. He wakes up, makes a single cup of coffee, reads the paper. Then he goes out. He walks, and he finds doors to hold. It started by accident. He held a door for someone. They gave him a big, genuine smile, and for a second, he felt a spark. A connection, so he did it again. And again. It became his purpose. "You see?" he explained. "Every person who walks through that door, they're going somewhere, to meet someone, to do something, to live their life. For a split second, I get to be a part of their journey. I get to help them on their way." It was his way of fighting back against the loneliness, of feeling like he was still part of the world, even if the world didn't always see him. He told me about Eleanor, how she was the one who filled their home with laughter and noise. She loved having people over. The door was always open, friends and neighbors always stopping by for a chat or a cup of tea. When she was gone, the door closed. Not literally, of course, but the life behind it just stopped. He confessed that sometimes it's hard. Sometimes he feels invisible, like a ghost holding a door for the living. People brush past, their eyes looking right through him. On those days he goes home, and the quiet in his apartment feels heavier than ever. He sits in his armchair, Eleanor's empty chair beside him, and he wonders if he's just being foolish. But then, the next morning, he gets up and does it all over again, because he remembers the mother who mouthed thank you with tears in her eyes. He remembers the young man who was so grateful he almost dropped his stack of books, and they shared a laugh. He remembers the little girl who handed him a dandelion she'd picked. Those are the moments he holds on to. Those are the moments that keep him going. He believes in a kind of cosmic balance. He's putting all this simple, quiet kindness out into the universe, holding open a path for hundreds of strangers. And he has this simple, quiet faith that the universe will notice, that one day the path will lead back to him. He's not asking for a grand gesture. He's just hoping for a knock. A simple knock on his door, maybe a new neighbor asking to borrow some sugar, maybe someone he held the door for, recognizing him on the street and striking up a conversation, someone to break the silence, someone to walk through his door and stay for a while, filling the quiet with a new voice, a new story. He's not just holding a physical door made of wood or glass. He's holding open a door in his own heart, refusing to let it close, refusing to let the loneliness win. He's keeping hope alive, one person at a time. I left Arthur that night feeling completely changed. The next day, I saw him at the library. He was holding the door. I walked up, and as I passed through, I stopped. "Arthur," I said. He looked surprised that I remembered his name. "I was just making a pot of tea," I said, "and I made way too much. I was wondering if you'd like to come over and help me drink it." For the first time, I saw tears well up in Arthur's eyes. His gentle smile was brighter than I had ever seen it. "I would like that very much," he said, his voice thick with emotion. And for the first time in a long time, someone held the door for him. Sometimes the biggest acts of kindness are the smallest ones. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is to stop, to see the person holding the door, and to ask them in. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, consider sharing it. You never know who might need to hear it. And don't forget to look for the authors in your own life. We'll see you in the next one.